So I'm here in northern Rwanda, and behind me you can see one of the twin lakes which was formed by volcanic eruptions, and indeed the volcanic mountains where many tourists flock to see the gorillas who live up in the mountain forests. And it's here that the Chance for Childhood EE project is located, here in northern Rwanda, around this spectacular scenery.
The countryside in which we are is called Karambo, and Karambo sector is one of 19 sectors of Gakenke District. The children of this countryside really have troubles to go to schools and to access health facilities, whereby people who get sick or ill have to be transported on the back for them to be taken to health center.
This girl is called Bimenyimana. She's a student here at the Karambo Secondary School. She got an accident while she was in the family, but due to they live in the remotest area where they can't access the medical facilities, she spent 3 days at home without getting any treatment, any support.
Yeah, it's clear that this mapping was really very good, and it has really brought the attention of official governments. Being in Musanze, it was estimated that more of 2,000 people with disabilities. But when the E project went down the villages, the number which was found, it was 8,000. 117 people with disabilities. You can really see the big difference, and this really has been appreciated by the government.
Uyu mwanya w'abantu bafite ubumuga wagiyeho guhera 2012.
This role of district disability officer is a new position in Musanze district, not only in Musanze but also in Rwanda, but they were hired in 2012. Since then, they have tried to sensitize community members, people with disability themselves. The NCPD, National Council for People with Disability representatives were trained, and the teachers and local authorities. As an outcome of these trainings and sensitization, people are now aware about their rights.
So we're here in Musanze district in a remote school location which is an hour's drive from the nearest town, and we're right at the foothills of the Gorilla Mountains. Now this particular school has a large catchment of over 1,000 children, and we're here to meet an LSA and 4 parents with their children who are being assisted by the LSA. Now all these girls here have communication impairments of various kinds, and we've been hearing about how the attention of the LSA is really helping them to build their confidence and to allow them to learn and to be educated when previously they were very excluded and marginalised within this educational setting.
We are with the mother who has a child with disability, who was supported by an LSA. This is the child who likes to be on her own before she's supported by an LSA. And since the LSAs has started helping the child has gained confidence in the family, both in the family and at school.
Kandi mbegereye mbakunda ndi umubyeyi ndi umurezi wabo bitwara umwanya wo kugira ngo babyumve.
The LSA is saying that the fact that these children are really fearful, mostly ladies are fearful or they look shy. They like to be on their own comparing to their peers who are boys. But what he's saying is that he tries and come down to the level of the child and try to explain to the child that this child, though you think like that, but pretend that I'm your parent. Feel free to me. Come to me whenever you need my help. I'll be there just to support you. And then that's when the LSA has tried and gained the confidence with the child. And this also makes it good for the teachers to find the child just following together with the others.
We are at school which is Tero Primary School, which is located in Musanze District. Now we are talking with one of learning supporting assistants.
Umubyeyi urukundo rwonyine no gutuma abandi bana bagenzi babo bagendaga ba.
I managed to win the community by convincing them, but though these children are disabled, but still they can make something in the community. They can become some people important in future. So you better not stigmatize them, but value them as you value your neighbors, because they are also people like any other person.
Inyungu ari iz'umuryango nyarwanda muri rusange.
Okay. Actually, the way they consider him is saying that the community perceives him in two different ways. There is that advanced community that is considering him as someone important because he's helping a large group of persons with disabilities to make or to prove that they're skilled, they can do something. But the community behind it is also saying that, this is the one who is standing for this destroyed port. They had an abusive name they used to attribute to these children with disabilities. But he's hoping that maybe within the coming time, those communities also will still feel that he's helping, he's doing a good job, then they'll value him as just a person who is doing great in the Rwandan community. Okay. This is the father of a child who is supported by a learning support assistant. He's given his own testimony whereby he's saying that his child is the daughter who used to have this chronic ear infection, and she got that ear infection by the time she was 4 years old. And by the time she attended school, she used to be the last of the class. But after the introduction of this LSA, this child, her name is Zawadi, she started being the 7th among 53 students. This also is the father of the child who has this stunted growth. Pupils that are studying together is just to stigmatize her, and due to that, she preferred just to stay home instead of attending school and face that stigma. But after the LSA is introduced to this school, the child felt as if she is protected by this LSA. So the children also feared to stigmatize her anymore because they think this LSA will act as the father of this child, even if the father, her own father, is not allowed.
Then after the mapping, we had to go for advocacy events, which had a purpose, at least to bring attention of both local leaders, community members, and the people with disabilities, so that we can at least fight against stigma and discrimination which was based to the status of people with disabilities. Most of them reported that they were being looked down by their fellow family members, neighbors, all the surroundings. So we had to go and carry out community events, activities, just to advocate, to mobilize the whole community so they can understand the rights of people with disabilities and they can understand the strength of which these people with disabilities have.
Biracyabaho bijya bibaho.
Hari aho biba ugasanga
Okay, urakoze
nimba
none.
atavuga usanga umubyeyi ntashatse kumusapotinga ku bandi wenda ngo mugaragaze.
Okay. This Emmanuel is a community member here in Nyamimirwa, Mugari Cell. He's saying that their parents were still having bad attitude whereby they hide children behind the house, especially when there is a guest coming home. There are those who use just to hide children with disabilities, saying that it's a shame on us if they find we're having a child who is disabled, and they try and hide the child to avoid that maybe they will be looked down. And due to that, children with disabilities are really still undergoing a lot of stigma then in the community, down in the families. And he's saying this attitude is getting changed day by day. It's no longer the case as it used to be, but their parents were still having that bad attitude.
Nzi ko abantu bose ari abantu b'Imana, n'Imana mbese ubwo yarabikoze nti ubwonko bwe butuzuye numva mbese nyuzwe Imana ntitwayiburanye.
Contrast to this, what Emmanuel have been saying, is saying that to me I can't just afford just to hide my child because this is a creature given by God. This is a gift of God. So I can't really dare to hide him because this is a person like another person. Though God wanted him to be like this, but still I have him as a child like another child. So I have to struggle for his life and make him feel comfortable in the community, in the family as well. And that's what made me just to bring here where people can even see him and exchange ideas and improve on the way I should just handle him.
So we're now walking along to meet a girl who sadly was abandoned by her family because of her deafness. She's been taken on by a local nurse who's looking after her, and we're just about to go and meet her now.
As you can see, these are some of the mountains our staff, the EE team, is always climbing to find those disabled children in remote areas. And most of them, they are now aware that there are some people who are caring for them, who can cater for their needs, who can help them to get to schools.
Now Esther had a really tough start to life. She was abandoned by her mother due to the stigma of her deafness. She was then adopted by a family informally who took her on basically for domestic work and labour purposes, and then Helena discovered her aged 10 with awful cuts to her wrists and ankles from this hard work. Has now, thanks to Chance for Childhood, found her a place in a deaf school where for the first time she'll learn how to use sign language, vocational skills, and will be able to communicate properly for the first time in her life. And we're now travelling up to another village to meet a little boy. He's also thought to be around 15, who was left abandoned in a forest by his parents, so he was found by the people currently caring for him.
Nuko ubwo bagiye kumwanzuza ubura nyirawe ubwo mubana guce kugeza ku myaka 2 tubana.
The child was found in the street just walking. He was just rejected by the family. We don't know the parents, we don't know the mother and the father.
This boy is not able to communicate. It's why we don't know the age, his age. Here in Rwanda, when the deaf kids, he's not go to school, he's not known how to express himself. They don't know anything without education.
So what we're learning about the situation in Rwanda is that deafness in some ways is just the start of the problem. So it prohibits a child from having an education. They're highly stigmatised, so rejected by family and community. If you're a female deaf child, you're more likely to be the victim of sexual assault. So really, deafness is a tiny part of the big social problems that these children face. they are so unable to communicate through having not learnt sign language or been socialised at all, that we don't even know their backgrounds. We don't know their ages, where they're from, their families, their communities. So Chance for Childhood and their Rwandan partners are literally starting from scratch with these children, trying to build up their self-esteem, their lives, their communication skills, to give them a hope of being fulfilled in the future and being part of the communities that they belong to.
Good morning, students. How are you? Yeah, this club has not had impact only in school environment, and rather it has even helped to an extent where these children who were trained in this club, they went down the village and talked to their parents and the other fellow children, to even an extent where they came back and told us that we have got other children with disabilities who are still in their homes. We need to encourage their parents and we need to encourage them so that they can also come and join school like we. Yes, it has really helped me because after joining a club, I had different ideas. I could say negative ideas about children with disabilities. But now I've learned that they are really able and they have potential like any other child. I'm now having friends among children who are disabled.
The meaning of the song, it says, every human being or every creature deserves a respect. Whether you are blind or whether you are physically disabled, you deserve to be respected.
Theophil is saying that he likes so much his teacher because this is the one of the teachers who touches his heart, saying that if I did find this teacher here, I could even have dropped out of this school. I like him so much because he teaches me English and that is my favorite course. Theophil is the best in this school in English comparing to other children who don't even have any type of disabilities.
We are now at Gakoro. I'm with Claudine and Olive. Claudine is sharing the experience, how she feels now at school. Claudine is saying, as an impaired person and student, before I could not go out during break time because I had low esteem because of my impairment. But now, after the introduction of the club in school, I feel free. I can go to break and with other students, even in class, we do share ideas. I do help other students. There is no longer that self-low esteem I used to have before. Olive trying to share the experience after she had joined a club. They went outside of the school where they entered in the community, trying to convince parents. Today, there is a lady who had denied her child to join a school because of the speech impairment that child had. But now, there is the good news that today the child has come to school and is now in the office of the director of the school. They have brought her for registration. That's a good news.
abafite ubumuga ni abantu si ibintu baburemewe batabushaka babuhabwa